Monday is the first deadline day for migrants in Denver's city-run shelters. 2 weeks ago, the city started its new rule limiting people to a 14-day stay in its shelters. As the first deadline approaches, the city is saying that no one will be kicked out if they don't yet have a place to live. Our Angeline McCall spoke with a migrant from Colombia who's scrambling to meet that city's requirement in time.
Right. Migrants have just a few days left to figure out what's next, and many aren't sure still what that looks like. The city says that they aren't going to be kicking anyone out, but that they're working with people to get them into alternative solutions, such as finding people who are willing to host them. For those who are still in the shelters, they continue to be worried about coming up with a plan when they aren't familiar with the city and don't know anyone.
No es suficiente el tiempo, de verdad que 14 días es muy poco tiempo para nosotros, porque se acaban los 14 días, entonces nosotros, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Si no tenemos familia en este país, entonces vamos a salir con estos fríos, no sé qué vamos a hacer con la comida. Es bastante peligroso también para nosotros.
Right now, many are focused on finding jobs, even if they're short-term or very temporary, to make some money to make their own arrangements. Many have also told me that they hope to find places with the friends that they made along the journey up to Denver. They might have met previously before crossing the border or later when they finally arrived in Denver. Kyle?
Yeah, that seems to be a theme that I've heard from your reporting and some of my conversations with the advocates who are working with these folks who are here, is that, you know, any kind of connection that they can make along the way to help kind of keep people safe and to work together. And it's interesting to see that some of those bonds have held all the way clear up to Colorado.
Yeah, definitely. When you go through something like that, you do have that bond. And what's more, too, is that many have really stuck together and they're really helping one another. You talk to people and they've made these friendships, and they're people that are still connected even when they go on to another city, say Chicago, New York. They stay in touch over apps such as WhatsApp so that they continue talking to each other and just making sure to look out for one another as well.
Well, now we wait to see if the city makes good on its pledge that it's not going to toss people out onto the streets if they can't find a new place to live in that amount of time. Angeline, thank you. So as we talked with the migrants and the advocates working to help them get settled, you hear time and time again, you just did there, they want to work so they can be self-sufficient. Asylum seekers can't legally work for 150 days after they apply for asylum. That's when they can ask the federal government for a work permit. It takes another 30 days to get it. Today on MSNBC, Denver Mayor Michael Hancock said those particular federal rules need an update.
They want to work. We have Venezuelans in Denver who are showing up at the construction sites saying, I want to work, and they can't. Members of Congress want to hide behind the laws and say we can't put them to work. Yeah. You know, if any of us in our cities have an issue where we already have a law in place, but it's now impeding our ability to make progress, we go back and we amend that law as quickly as possible to make it work for the situation.
We reached out to the mayor's office to learn what specific reforms he would like to see on legal work rights. The mayor was unavailable because he was traveling back to Denver from the East Coast, so we'll catch up with him on that in the future. Faking a child abuse allegation against a political enemy has turned out to be a real expensive choice for a former Arapahoe County caseworker. A judge says Robin Niceta should pay Aurora City Councilwoman Danielle Drinsky $3 million. Drinsky filed a defamation lawsuit in August. Drinsky had been openly critical of Niceta's partner, the former Aurora Police Chief Vanessa Williams. A DHS investigation found that Drinsky did not abuse her child. Niceta is now facing criminal charges for that fake report. She made that report while she was a social worker for Arapahoe County DHS. A district court judge awarded Drinsky $100,000 for each of the 15 days she was under the child abuse investigation and another $1.5 million in damages. We're hearing from Coloradans who say their Xcel bills have doubled, tripled. If you flip the bill over to read the charges line by line, bless you. And bless Marshall Zellinger, who took a bill straight to Xcel and asked for a line-by-line explanation.
Really, everything on this bill has to do with your usage, right? It's just how it's split up.
Let's review your Xcel bill, starting with the electric charges. The service and facility charge is for the meter on your home. Xcel reading that meter, billing you, and providing customer service. The next few lines pay for the infrastructure to provide the electricity you use. This bill shows a customer with a smart meter who pays different rates based on time of day. That's why it's split up into 3 lines. GRSA, that's basically a rate change to cover Xcel's cost of providing electricity that was not accounted for in the previous section. EGCRR is the charge charge that we're getting because of that February 2021 cold snap when Xcel bought really expensive natural gas to generate electricity. Now we're paying them back for it. You'll see this again on the gas bill, too.
Your largest charge is your ECA, which is the actual fuel, right? And all of these other things, by the time you narrow them down to what a typical residential customer pays, you're talking about, cents.
ECA is the cost of fuel to generate the electricity we used. It changes quarterly, so that's why this bill has it twice. One price for December and one price for January, which started a new quarter. There are sections of the bill that we pay for to fund incentive programs, like getting rebates for buying energy-efficient appliances. Whew. Now to natural gas. Just like the electric side, you get charged for your gas meter, the reading of it, billing, and customer service. The usage charge covers how Xcel gets you gas, like pipelines and storage. The biggest charge is your actual gas usage, and it's here twice because there was one rate in December and it changed in January. What's this? A very small credit? This line reflects Xcel collecting too much from us for pipeline safety purposes.
If we over-under collect on those, there's a true-up. You'll notice that's a credit. So there was an over-collection, and we're in the process of crediting that back to customers.
Here's that other charge for that really expensive natural gas from February 2021. We're paying for it on the electric side because the gas was used to generate electricity, and we're paying for it on the gas side because we use that gas in our homes too. At the bottom of both electric and gas bills is this 75-cent energy assistance charge. We're paying that to Xcel to help customers who need help with their bills.
It's a charge that customers can opt out of. However, it's standard on the bills, and those dollars go to help low-income customers.
That's something I didn't even know. It was put in by the state legislature, and now we're going to have people considering, do I save $1.50 off my bill or continue to help fund payment assistance? Kyle, all of the sections, line by line, go through public hearings through the Public Utilities Commission. So there are 3 commissioners that hear all of this from Xcel and approve or deny, and more often than not approve, all these changes before they show up on our bill.
So the one thing that you can opt out of is not something that, say, hurts Xcel's bottom line or hurts Xcel shareholders or reduces their executive compensation. It's like, do I want to opt out of this and give the screws to my least fortunate neighbors?
Yes.
Holy. Okay. There's more to this in terms of the why of a lot of it.
Right. We described the what.
Yeah.
Next week, we're going to talk about why some of these things are on your bill. And next week, the Public Utilities Commission is going to explain why our bills are so high. They're having a public hearing on helping people understand what is tough to understand.
I know that was very complicated, as we started by saying, bless you. Colorado's drug use issues play out in a variety of our public spaces these days. 2 of the 3 libraries closed due to meth contamination are still off limits to the public. The main branch of the library in Boulder is now reopening some areas. Our Nusha Roy looks at what it takes to make a building safe again.
The Bemis Public Library in Littleton is still closed as they are now expanding testing to other areas of the library beyond the bathrooms. Inglewood Public Library isn't open either. They're figuring out their plan of action and said the meth contamination in the restrooms may be more extensive than other surfaces.
Every area that they have to do remediation in is different. Some has to be just the drywall, some is down past the studs.
Anders Nelson is with the Arapahoe County Public Health that is helping with cleanup at both libraries.
Kind of difficult to know exactly when that contamination took place because these were proactive testings that these libraries did.
The next process is a certified decontamination contractor goes in and, isolates the areas that are deemed contaminated with plastic tenting.
Tom Cook, a certified industrial hygienist, is with Vertex Companies.
I've trained every single person in Colorado who is certified.
And gets called out pretty frequently for meth remediation. He explained why some buildings would have to be completely demolished.
Probably more due to that they were doing manufacturing of meth.
And in other cases, it's not necessary. Like if someone is using meth inside the library and the contamination is contained to certain areas. Once it's blocked off, properly cleaned, and meets state standards, Cook said it should be okay to open back up to the public. But everyone we talked to,
I wasn't really surprised,
said what's happening at the libraries is just the tip of the iceberg.
We've known, I think, in emergency medicine that certainly illicit drug use does happen in public areas, buses, libraries, So that's that, gas station bathroom.
ER Dr. Eric Hill said right now it can seem more shocking because it's making headlines, but it was clear that the risks of people falling sick from secondhand exposure are low.
So the only time we've heard of folks feeling sick so far are some of the initial reports out of Boulder. That was the first library to report this problem last month. 2 security guards actually went into the bathrooms, were exposed to smoke and fumes. They were feeling kind of lightheaded, but are okay. Boulder said they actually renovated the bathrooms in 2019, and they were picking surfaces easy to clean and non-porous. Their ventilation systems were helping them out, but at the end of the day, they're going to have to demo and replace all of their exhaust ducts and their exhaust fans in that library.
So I just wonder, Anusha, like how much of this is going to kind of become like a media-driven thing as more and more places feel like they have to test. We obviously know there's a meth problem in Colorado. People are using. We're chasing them from one public space to another. So obviously they end up in places like public bathrooms. And what happens if all of a sudden all these municipalities start testing and they all come back hot?
Yeah, and that's what everyone I talked to today said, that this is just the surface of it, but you have to have the money to be able to test like that. And there's not actually a lot of people who do this. Tom said there's 4 instructors, maybe 30 to 40 consultants, half a dozen contractors that can actually go in and do this work. And it's expensive. I mean, anywhere from $20,000, $30,000 to $100,000 plus, depending on what you need to do.
Wow. All right, Anusha, that was an interesting perspective. Thank you. The last few heavy snowstorms have really shown how hard it is for Coloradans who tend to get stuck at home if our sidewalks aren't cleared and our roads aren't safe. It's older folks quite often. There is help out there for them, thanks to a wonderful nonprofit. A Little Help works on the Front Range in northern Colorado and on the western slope. They can help out with snow shoveling for seniors, certainly, but so much more. A Little Help finds volunteers and then puts them through background checks and then connects them with seniors nearby who could use a hand with things like yard work, getting groceries, small tasks around the house. Maybe it's just a visit to talk from time to time. So that's why they're featured in this week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word thanks to 303-871-1491 to join me and a bunch of next viewers as we support A Little Help. They are helping our neighbors dig out after the storm, taking them to doctor's appointments, and sometimes just fighting loneliness among older Coloradans. If you've got a spare $1 million, you can put your name on RTD's A-line. Please, someone do it. RTD needs the cash, and they don't have any takers. And the stock show gets all the attention. But another long-running celebration of culture in Colorado is where we went for your good news. Next. You could have your name on the A-Line train. Wouldn't that be sweet? The Michelle Jones A-Line. RTD wants $1 million for the naming rights, but they didn't find any takers of that price, so I bet you can get it for less than $1 million. Last November, RTD went hunting for a new name for that line that goes between Union Station and the Denver airport. It was previously known as the University of Colorado A-Line, of course, because it doesn't go anywhere near a CU campus, but whatevs. RTD Director Doug Tisdale said at a meeting this week that the naming right is worth at least $1 million a year. Let's briefly talk about what something is worth. Something is worth what someone will pay for it, and no more. But not a single company has made a proposal at the $1 million a year mark. So I wager to say it's not worth that. RTD blames the whole thing on poor timing, that the naming rights offer went to the public right before the holidays. They said they're going to try again later this year. They want the full $1 million, and what I would like is your ideas at next@9news.com. What should the A-Line be named?
And a quick check of your forecast on this chilly Friday evening. A little bit of snowfall down towards the south and eastern portion of the state. Denver is going to be getting in on the mix there with some more snow possible, possibly about a ½ inch overall as we head from this evening into the early hours of tomorrow morning. Winter weather alerts from this afternoon through Saturday afternoon. Winter storm warnings for the south and eastern portion. Lyman, though, around 1 inch. Areas that you are expecting near Pueblo around 2 to 7 inches. Gusts up to 35 miles per hour. Friday evening into the early hours of Saturday morning, you're expecting this system to continue to push out towards the east. Mostly cloudy skies in Denver, maybe a few sprinkles along the Front Range and into the high country by Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening, but of course nothing organized. This is how much snowfall we're looking at when it's all said and done. Anywhere between 5 to 8 inches down towards Lamar and Trinidad. Denver, once again, around a half an inch of snowfall possible. 7-day forecast, temperatures showing very chilly conditions over the next couple of days. And remember, our next system comes on Monday. 1 to 4 inches possible, but there are scenarios where we could be seeing 6 to 10 inches. Stay tuned all through the weekend.
We stopped by Colorado's Indian Market to pick up some of your good news.
My good news is to spread Native American culture, and we're happy to do it. We're happy to be here.
Our favorite Friday question. It's all about perspective on life and a glimpse at what matters to our neighbors. And it's next. The Colorado Indian Market and Southwest Art Fest is a Denver tradition, not unlike the National Western Stock Show. The two events have coincided for almost 41 years. The Cultural Arts Festival is back in Denver after a 2-year hiatus, so we stopped by with our favorite Friday question. We just want to know, what's good in your world?
My good news is the Colorado Indian Market is a great place to be and hang out.
Make sure you visit us at the Indian Market.
Thank you. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
My good news is I'm starting my business over and it's thriving, and I'm so happy to be able to share Native fashion with the world.
My good news is a good day to dance.
My good news is to spread Native American culture, and we're happy to do it. We're happy to be here.
It brings people from all walks of life.
My good news is my youngest son and his wife are having a baby at the end of May, and it's been a long wait for me, and I'm finally glad it's here.
My good news is that my baby brother met a perfect woman and they're getting married this year.
I get to express my culture.
My big news and good news is the fact that our daughter, who's a CU buff, she did her master's in Boulder for communications. She was selected and accepted at USC, the USC Trojans. And we're so excited. Her mom and I, we've read to her almost every night when she was a kid, and it paid off.
Her good news is she gets to wake up to me every day, and I mean every day.
Every day. It is a good day.
Happy's contagious, man. That's why we do it every Friday. Happy is contagious. Well, I will say you have a robust number of A-line name right suggestions. Robust. That's next. Loads of feedback on Marshall Zellinger's line-by-line reporting of what goes into an Xcel bill. Izzy writes, your segment on the Xcel bill is why I watch the show. I learned so much. She says, hopefully no one in Colorado opts out of helping others. I love how that's the one opt-out on the Xcel bill. It's help your neighbors. Tom says, the report on Xcel billing tonight was spot on. I called him last month and asked, if I use the exact same amount of gas this year as I did last year, how much more will I pay? Tom says the customer service rep was flustered and unable to answer. David suggests that the profit numbers Xcel is putting up should be another line item on our bills. Now to your A-line naming suggestions. Joanne thinks if they get $1 million a year for naming rights, they should just call it the gravy train. David's thinking maybe it could be the word of thanks A-line. I like that, David. That's sweet. Randall is thinking perhaps the Russell Wilson A-line. That way we can get something out of his salary. Randall, I'd go back to what I said about the A-line naming rights. Something or someone is worth what somebody will pay for it. Russell Wilson is being paid handsomely. RTD, not getting paid at all. See you next time.